Paper Towns is a 2015 film directed by Jake Schreier and distributed by 20th Century Fox, based on the novel of the same name written by the American author John Green. John Green was born in August 1977 in Indianapolis and attended Kenan College. The author starts writing literary reviews for the New York Times Book Review magazine while writing his debut novel, Looking for Alaska. The novel that found the most worldwide success was undoubtedly The Fault in Our Stars, so much so that a movie was made based on the novel. Paper Towns is his third novel, published in 2008 in USA and in Italy a year later. After 1 year since its publication, it was awarded the Edgar Award for Best Young Adult Novel and the Korean Literature Prize in 2010. Paper Towns, the movie, was firstly adapted for the screen by John Green himself, but then he decided to pass on the work to Scott Neustadter and Michael H. Weber, the same team of screenwriters who worked on The Fault in Our Stars. The main characters are Quentin, interpreted by Nat Wolff, and Margot, interpreted by Cara Delevingne. Quentin Jacobson lives in Jefferson Park, Orlando, right in front of Margot Roth Spiegelman, and they soon become friends. At the age of 9, they part after a gruesome discovery. They find the corpse of a man who committed suicide. Years later, they are both students at the Jefferson Park High School. Margot is a typical popular and beautiful girl, while Quentin is introverted and kind, but he is not so popular among his peers, though he has two good friends, Ben and Marcus, also known as Rudder. It is the typical narrative of the popular girl and the somewhat awkward boy, until one night Margot breaks into Quentin's room unexpectedly and gets him involved in her revenge against some common enemies of the high school. Margot discovered that her boyfriend cheated on her with her friend Rebecca, so she decided to plan her revenge. At first, Quentin is reluctant, but then decided to follow Margot, and so the two spend the night pulling humiliating pranks to chase Rebecca and their friend's circle, including Margot's best friend, Lacey. After getting revenge and having fun together, the two sneak into SeaWorld. Quentin thinks that he restored some complicity with Margot and hopes that they will be able to have a close relationship again, since he is hopelessly in love with her. Instead, much to Quentin's regret, Margot mysteriously disappears the next day. By now, her parents are resigned to her whims, so they decide not to report her missing, since she has run away from home repeatedly before. But Quentin is determined to search for her and starts to look for clues that she eventually left for him to find her. Quentin bribes Margot's sister, Ruthie, so that he can look for the clues to Margot's whereabouts in her room, and he notices a freshly attached poster in her room, realizing that that's the first clue Margot left for him. Ben and Rudder help Quentin in his research, and soon Lacey will join too. She didn't know about Jay's infidelity, and she truly cares for her friend Margot. The group of friends find an address in Margot's room and decide to investigate further. The address corresponds to an abandoned shopping center, so Quentin, Ben, and Rudder decide to head to the place. There, they find an old souvenir shop where it looks like somebody has been recently. The three find disturbing clues hinting at suicide, such as a writing on the wall stating, "You will go to the paper towns and never come back." While continuing his research inside of the room, Quentin finds a poked map, perhaps used by Margot, discovering later that the holes on the map correspond to different paper towns. A paper town is a fictitious town that appears on maps as a copyright trap, so it doesn't actually exist. Quentin continues his desperate search, driving to all Florida's paper towns, searching for more clues inside of the abandoned shopping center. On the morning of graduation day, Quentin connects all the dots and realizes that Margot is in Eglo, a paper town in the state of New York, and decides to leave and head to the town with his minivan. His friends, along with Lacey and Radha's girlfriend, Angela, decide to join him in his trip to New York. When they arrive to Eglo, Margot is nowhere to be found, so the group decides to head back home to return in time for the graduation ceremony. But Quentin doesn't give up and decides to stay there alone. Continuing his search in the surroundings, he eventually bumps into Margot and admits his love for her, but she doesn't feel the same way. She explains to him the reason why she ran away. She wanted to leave her negligent parents behind and truly discover herself, saying how she left the clues to let Quentin know she was safe. Margot confirms that she wants to stay in Eglo, while Quentin books a bus ticket to return home. They kiss goodbye before Quentin leaves, and when back to Florida, he enjoys his group's company, with whom he will spend the summer until they have to part for college. The film presents some differences in the plot that don't affect how the story unfolds. However, these are crucial changes in terms of the characterization and the overall impact of the book. Margot's character may appear as a simple, self-centered and full of herself teenager at first glance, but there are many aspects underneath the surface, including insecurities, mistakes, and hopes. On the contrary, the film portrays the character rather superficially, only showing the myth of Margot, the unsinkable ship she seems to be. The egocentricity of Margot, that seems untamable in the movie, overshadows the book's real main character, Quentin. In the novel, the reader is always searching for Margot through Quentin. It is clear that a key theme is the protagonist's self-growth journey that he goes through, also thanks to Margot's search, which leads him to think and act outside of his comfort zone. While in the movie, this concept is rather neglected, preferring a much more teenage atmosphere that differs from the novel. The ending of the book and the ending of the movie are similar, but there are some slight differences that drastically change the idea that the reader or viewer may have of Margot. In the book, she wanted to somehow help Quentin to learn how to assert himself and take risks by leaving him clues, some of which were left accidentally, while in the movie, Margot remains selfish and admits she didn't leave any clues for Quentin on purpose. Moreover, by the end of the book, the myth of Margot seems to crumble, hinting at the girl's dissatisfaction with the hypocrisy of her life and the role that society gave to her. This is the reason why she runs away and escapes to Eglo, to start from scratch, so she can finally define herself, whereas in the movie, the myth of Margot seems to be rather solidified. Despite the overall impact of the movie differs from the book, the film won the award of Choice Summer Movie at the Teens' Choice Award, and is still a pleasant movie to watch, although losing a bit too much of the depth of the book, favoring instead a teenage lightness in the movie.